Why don't you, Will, walk us through the basic building blocks of the return of one of ITV's drama juggernauts, Endeavour?
After the end of the previous series, Cowley Police Station, where Endeavour and the rest of the main cast were based, has been closed down. Endeavour has been relocated, but he's in uniform now. He's grown a moustache as well. That's not really relevant to the building blocks.
It is. That's the first thing I was going to mention, so well done.
Thursday is back at City Police, but he's been demoted after the death of George Fancy. And he's now following the orders of DCI Ronnie Box, who was in the previous series. And he's much more of a gruffer character.
Okay, you can't use gruff twice. I mean, it was fun the first time. Second time, you're just getting lazy.
Sorry. I must just have the Gruffalo on my brain for some reason. I think I should probably have that instead of the hyphen, so Barber Gruffed out.
It's a bit of a shame Dakota Blue Richards still isn't in Endeavour, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a shame because she had real potential
to have a hyphen there.
To have a hyphen, yeah.
Yeah.
that was the joke I was making.
She had a real potential to have a hyphen.
I feel we've drifted slightly.
Yeah, we have drifted slightly. The main team's been split up, but they're all brought back together by the disappearance of a little girl. Endeavour finds the body of the murdered girl by a pylon in the middle of a field, and he's then sucked into the investigation, and the main team attempt to solve the mystery, with DCI Box not wanting Endeavour to be involved because he thinks he's too much of a smart aleck and he doesn't like someone in uniform solving his case. So that's sort of just the general building blocks of the first episode.
You can read Will's review on the website, but just as far as... Because this was somewhat of a reboot for Endeavour. We're in a new era, a new time of their lives, time of Endeavour's life. The moustache, I mean, there's a lot to discuss just on that. But what did you think? How would you compare this to previous Endeavour episodes?
I really enjoyed it. I think, like you say, it's sort of like somewhat of a soft reboot. So there are slight changes in tone. I mean, the advertising has been all sort of like suggesting it's a lot darker. And to an extent, it is a bit darker, but it is... I don't think that should put anybody off.
Would you say it's gruffer?
Yeah, I would say it's gruffer. I'd say it's gruffer. I'd say that with the moustache, Endeavour is definitely gruffer. A bit more gruff. It does reflect well with the overall change that's been going through from the previous series. It does feel like an organic change. It doesn't feel like a sort of sharp left turn or anything. So it does really compare well to previous series of Endeavour.
The mystery was really intriguing. Young girls going missing is an awful thing, and it's always compelling. The resolution got a bit confusing for me because there's so many faces in there. It was hard to keep track of who was who and who was connected to who, and it kind of had had an ending and then another ending, in as much as you thought they'd solved it and then, oh no, they haven't, and it turns out it's this sort of photographer who keeps these girls and takes photos of them and things, and it was chilling. Endeavour is one of the classiest shows on television and something that ITV should be very proud of and should shout about more. But whenever I sit down to start an Endeavour, I always think, wow, 2 hours. And I know that's a horrible thing to say, and I should have the concentration and capacity to watch 2 hours without panicking. And I do, because when I watch it, I really enjoy it. But there's always that feeling of, it is a lot, 2 hours.
It's a big commitment.
Yeah. But that's sort of by the by, and may well get edited out of the podcast because it is a really compelling story. And I think I am looking forward to seeing how this series progresses, because I was kind of worried that they were going to have to find ways of shoehorning Roger Alam's character in again, because we all like the Thursday and Endeavour dynamic, but so they had to find a way of doing it. But I think Russell Lewis is such a talent and knows the characters so well that it all just feels very organic. And it's about time a pelican turned up in a period crime drama as well. So I was very pleased that we got a pelican in a crime drama on a Sunday night on ITV. Matt, your views, which I'm guessing may be somewhere in the middle of what I said and what...
No. I completely agree. I really enjoyed it. I mean, when we had Chris on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about Cold Feet, saying, like, you know, he always sort of is trepidatious when he goes into Cold Feet, but as soon as he starts watching it, it's like,
Yeah,
you know, I really enjoyed it.
That's my idea. That's my thoughts as well.
Yeah, on Endeavour, like, you know, you're there, you're sort of in that world. I liked how it was really, really dark. There's this sort of thread about Thursday's past, that this new murder investigation, the prime suspect is someone he came across when he was doing the murder investigation years previously, and it sort of forces him to reevaluate his past almost in a way. I liked, as you mentioned as well, the comedy with the Anton Lesser character and the sort of, you know, road safety video. I'm glad as well that they're back, because they're back to 4 episodes, aren't they? They were 6 last year, and it seems like that would for me, I think the 6th episode sort of slowed down the pace a little bit last year, and this year it feels like they've got this sort of central thread where it's strange, isn't it, who's desperate to sort of look into Fancy's murder a little bit more, and that seems to be the thread that's going to move throughout this series. This episode was getting the band back together, really, wasn't it? You knew by the end they'd be closer to each other and things like that. They've done it before, haven't they, where they've had Endeavour not be in the police force or something like that, and they've had to tempt him back in. So it felt a little bit samey, but different enough. And I know we're in 1969 now, and this Sunday just gone, there's an episode with is it the moon landings we've got?
Yeah, the Apollo moon landings.
Yeah, so I do like how they thread in real world events. I remember when they had the '66 World Cup a few years ago. It's a lovely show to look at as well, because obviously you're in the Oxfordshire countryside. It's really well directed. It's just a really good crime drama, and I don't think ITV promote it enough. It almost feels
shout about it half as much as they should.
It feels like it's just slotted into all those other, like the Veras and the I'm struggling now. I suppose the Grantchesters maybe.
Yeah. Do they still make Midsummer Murders?
They do, You think they've stopped, and then they end up doing it.
But no, I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad it's back. And you know, it's up against Baptiste, and it's going to be interesting to see, you know, which one gets the most viewers when they're head to head.